and he in ICU. I say, 50 what?
The moment 50 Cent finally spoke on how Gene Deal literally saved his life, the entire culture froze. Like, hold up, why are we only hearing this now? Because this wasn't just some small warning or a casual heads up. This was a moment that could have changed the course of hip-hop forever. One wrong move, one wrong second, one wrong corner, and the world might have lost 50 before he ever became the legend we know today. And according to 50, the only reason he's still standing is that Gene Deal stepped in at exactly the right moment and made a call nobody else had the guts to make. When 50 dropped the story, you could hear it in his voice. This was personal, this was real, and this was something he'd been holding on to for years, quietly carrying it all.
The guy who actually shot me is dead. The guy who paid him and got life in jail.
Got life in jail.
To really get why this moment hit so hard, you gotta peep the era. 50 Cent wasn't just another rapper grinding for a bag. He was a target in the streets, a problem for certain industry folks, and a threat to anyone who didn't want him rising. The music game back then wasn't about social media clout or Instagram beefs. It was real tension, real danger, real enemies who wouldn't blink at removing you to protect their spot. 50 was navigating a world where one wrong move, one bad alliance could end it all, and everybody knew it. That's why Gene Deal showing up mattered so much. He wasn't a rapper, he wasn't an artist, he was an industry watchdog, a man who'd seen every trick, every setup, every snake move the business had in store.
I was walking through, and BMF was there too. Meechnum was there too.
Who has more cred than you, living after being shot 9 fucking times?
I don't know what the criteria are for street credibility. Or
That's
if
it.
If there's something that creates more merit for you. I looked at that experience as something that was unfortunate that I had to, because it.
I forget, why the guy shot you 9 times? Was it drugs or something?
It was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it. So when Gene Deal pulled 50 aside, gave him that warning, and laid out exactly what was happening behind the scenes, it wasn't guesswork. It wasn't paranoia. It came from a man with experience, information, and a track record of seeing what happens to artists who ignore the signs. Gene knew who was plotting. Gene knew why, and he knew 50's life was in danger in a way 50 hadn't even fully grasped yet. It wasn't about beef. It wasn't about music. It was survival. 50 said Gene didn't sugarcoat a damn thing. He told him straight up that certain people weren't just talking, they were moving. Certain individuals who smiled in rooms were plotting something else entirely outside him, building a strategy to take him out before he blew up. And 50, being young and hungry, didn't always see how deep the politics ran. He was playing chess, but Gene had memorized the whole board. The wildest part? Gene put himself on the line by speaking up. Most people in his shoes would have stayed quiet, protected their jobs, stayed aligned with power players, but Gene wasn't built that way. He believed in loyalty, truth, in looking a man in the eye and telling him something real, even if it caused chaos. That decision, that exact moment, is what kept 50 Cent alive long enough to become the icon he is today. And when 50 finally shared this story, it shook the culture, because the details only get deeper from here.
Again, why this guy was hired to shoot you 9 times?
Well, you was paid because someone, felt like that I would potentially do something to them if they kept going in the direction that they were going.
And you are tough.
As 50 kept breaking down the moment Gene Deal stepped in, he made it clear this wasn't just some casual warning. This was a full-scale alert about a setup that could have ended everything before Get Rich or Die Trying even hit the streets. He explained that Gene wasn't acting on rumors or vibes. He was moving on verified intel from people inside the game who knew exactly what certain players were plotting. Gene had been around long enough to see how artists get set up, how envy turns into danger, and how silent enemies lurk behind closed doors. He'd witnessed careers collapse, lives destroyed, and artists blindsided by those they trusted most. So when he saw the pattern forming around 50, he understood immediately what was coming. 50 said Gene approached him with the gravitas of someone who'd seen this play out one too many times. He didn't soften the words, he didn't ease into the discussion. He told 50 straight up that some people he was rolling with weren't actually friends. They were watching him too closely, asking too many questions, making moves that didn't match the smiles on their faces. Gene told him some people hated his rise, disliked his momentum, and felt threatened by him blowing up bigger than anyone expected. And back then, 50 wasn't just buzzing, he was shaking the entire system. His mixtape run was legendary, his storytelling was raw, and his authenticity made the industry sweat in ways most fans don't even grasp.
Gotti and them had put it out there like they was a part of it and they was gonna do it that night, the day at the meet.
Gene saw the tension bubbling and knew it was only a matter of time before someone tried to take 50 out for good. So he pulled him aside, dropped him names, calling out meetings, and flagging spots that were straight up unsafe. He told him to stop showing up at certain places, to rethink who he was trusting, and to lock down access to his circle. And listen, Gene wasn't talking out of fear. He was speaking from real-life experience. He'd watched the industry reward silence and crush honesty without hesitation. So by spilling the truth to 50, he was literally putting everything on the line. 50 later said that the talk flipped the way he moved completely. Gene's warnings made him start reading people differently. Who actually had his back and who was just scared of him behind the scenes. He started skipping certain studios, he stepped away from some deals. He cut ties with people who smiled at him but whispered venom behind his back. Suddenly, the snakes became visible in real time. And girl, once 50 made those moves, all that weird energy started revealing itself, one slip at a time. People's true colors popped, and it was proof. Gene had been 100% right from the jump.
Shit, you had Navy SEALs with it, 2 in all directions. I was about 6 up.
When you get hurt that bad, either your fear consumes you or you become a bit insensitive. So just after...
Which one was it for you?
There was a point that I was afraid.
Afraid?
Yeah, following that.
The more 50 talked, the clearer it became. Gene hadn't just saved his life, he had saved his entire future. Without that warning, 50 could have walked straight into a situation with no way out. And here's the wild part, Gene never flexed about it. He never asked for credit, he didn't try to turn that moment into leverage. He held it close, waiting for the right time. And 50 respected that more than anything. As the story came together, 50 started breaking down the deeper connection between Gan Deal and the high-stakes world they were both moving through. Gene had lived through some of the heaviest chapters in New York hip-hop history. He was there during the Bad Boy era, in the middle of labor wars, and all the politics between crews, security, and industry insiders. He had seen firsthand just how fast things could turn dangerous when egos, money, and power collided. So when he spotted the signs around 50, he didn't hesitate for a second. He knew exactly how quickly things could go sideways. 50 described Gene as someone who could sniff danger from a mile away. He said Gene could tell when someone was lying just by the way they moved in a room. He could read a meeting as unsafe just from the guest list. He could sense when an artist was being set up purely from the energy surrounding him. And when those same red flags appeared around 50, Gene stepped in, even though it wasn't his job. That's what made the whole moment hit so hard. Gene's actions weren't about business, they were personal.
Agree with the rationale, and 50-50, he gonna stand in it. He gonna stand strong in it. I look at it from both sides.
What made it even crazier? How spot on Gene's warning turned out to be. As 50 started stepping back from the people Gan flagged, he began uncovering conversations happening behind his back. People were scheming to derail his career, sabotage his moves, and paint him as too risky to support. Some were even trying to get him caught slipping on the streets. Others were attempting to drag him into problems he had no part in. And the deeper 50 dug, the more he realized he'd been surrounded by people who didn't want him alive long enough to reach his full potential. Gene's warning didn't just keep him physically safe, it sharpened his mind. It changed how he trusted, how he calculated, how he moved. That famous "I don't trust anybody" attitude, moments like this forced it. And Gan Deal was one of the few who earned 50's respect by keeping it real while most people were scheming. 50 said Gene's honesty showed him the difference between real loyalty and fake loyalty. Real loyalty protects you when no one's watching. Fake loyalty smiles for cameras, then vanishes when the heat hits. Gene didn't vanish, he stood up, and that flipped everything. 50 also explained why it took years to tell this story. Back then, talking about it could have sparked negative reactions, exposed the wrong people, or reopened situations better left alone. Now, with time past, he feels safe telling the truth. And giving Gene his flowers while he's still here, that meant everything. Too many in hip-hop wait until someone's gone to recognize him. 50 refused to do that. He wanted Gene to know now, not someday. The impact of Gene's choice echoed through 50's entire career. Without that warning, 50 could have been another tragic headline, another artist cut down before reaching his prime. But because Gene stepped in, we witnessed a rap empire rise. G-Unit dominated an era. 50 expanded into film, TV, business, and generational wealth. And it all traces back to one man refusing to stay silent. 50 said he'll never forget Gene's tone when he delivered the truth. No fear, no panic, just conviction. The kind that comes from someone genuinely invested in your future. And when you're young, hungry, and navigating the industry alone, that's rare. That's why 50 calls Gandeal a real one. Not because of street legends or rumors, but because he acted when it mattered most. By the time 50 finished telling the story, fans were shocked, emotional, and piecing together just how close the world came to losing a hip-hop legend. And the wildest part? Gene never tried to use this for clout. He protected the story the same way he protected 50. That's loyalty. 50 revealing how Gene saved his life wasn't just storytelling. It was a reminder that behind every legend, someone is shaping the path. And in 50's case, Gene Deal was that someone. A man whose honesty, instinct, and courage prevented a tragedy and let one of hip-hop's greatest runs ever unfold.